Good evening, everyone. My name is Gopal Krishna Anand, Associate Editor of Thermal Control Magazine. I welcome you to Thermal Control Magazine's interactive session on chillers and cooling technologies for environment safety. My colleague, Ms. Rajeshwari Venkata Subramanian, Editorial Thermal Control Magazine, will introduce the panelists and tell you more about this interactive session. I welcome Ms. Rajeshwari to take over and moderate the session. Rajeshwari, please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thermal Control Magazine's interactive session on chillers and cooling technologies for environmental safety. Chillers are refrigeration systems offering cooling facilities for commercial and industrial applications. Various cooling technologies exist, such as electronic and thermal, liquid and air, passive, evaporative, and radiative. Researchers at MIT have further advanced the technology to achieve passive cooling, a method that does not require electricity. The newfound opportunities are working towards innovative cooling technologies to provide cooling process solutions. India's chiller market is driven by the food and beverage industry and the increasing trend towards green buildings. The demand for absorption chillers is increasing due to eco-friendly equipment in end-use industries. There is increased focus on environmental production from the emission of gases during the cooling process. Also, energy efficiency and a high level of cooling with minimum ecological impact drive the demand for chillers. However, single-screw inverter compressors are a good solution in data centers. The global chillers market is estimated to be $4.1 billion in 2021 and is projected to reach $4.8 billion by 2026. Further, rising temperatures due to global warming will likely drive the demand for cooling equipment. On this note, Thermal Control Business Update has hosted a roundtable conference on chillers and cooling technologies for environment safety. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege for me to introduce you to today's distinguished speakers. Mr. Ashish Rakheja, Managing Partner, Aeon Consultancy, Mr. Mukesh Agarwal, General Secretary of Federation of Cold Storage Association of India, Mr. Achyut Kulkarni, Applied and Unitary Stream Leader for India and SAARC Market Train Technologies, Ms. Shama Jain, Managing Director, KHEMS Technologies, and Mr. Vijay Rana, Assistant National Sales Manager for the Absorption Chiller Division, Bry-Air.
Mr. Achyut Kulkarni, sir, when we talk about environment, so presently North India is facing worst air quality and affecting the living environment. In the backdrop of environmental concerns, what market shift and evolving trends for cooling technologies do you observe in present times?
Actually, this is a very interesting subject when we speak on environment, because see, if you ask me, both energy and environment go hand in hand, and particularly when you speak on HVAC and particularly when you speak on the chiller perspective, I think the key point is your refrigerants. So that's something which is very, very important. And today, if you're looking at it, we already have a clear mandate even from the government of India, because we have already ratified the Kigali Agreement, and then now the COP27 also is going on. Looking at that, I think the shift from the HFC-based refrigerants to the HFO-based refrigerants is very, very essential. And I would like to add a point here, because most of the companies have already done that. And looking at the change that we are seeing in our industry per se, things are going to be much, much better going forward. So we have a very positive note towards that with respect to the environment perspective from the chiller front.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Achyut. Definitely some refrigerants have to be explored for coming chillers in the future. Ms. Shama Jain, see, urbanization and big malls are sprawling everywhere. That is the trend. So
Yes.
So in this context, large space cooling is generally associated with commercial and large building applications. So what new parameters or norms will you suggest for the future chillers?
So normally for all the big applications, the consultants and big architects and contractors are seeking into design centrifugal and big screw chillers. We should look in for better energy efficient chillers with, as Achyut Kulkarni sir said, with better environmental friendly refrigerant so that they don't do a lot of bad on the environment and are easy on the environment. And when we talk about big space coolings, normally we look in for water cooled range of chillers. So it is water cooled centrifugal or water cooled screw chillers which are in for big space cooling.
Yeah, thank you very much for highlighting about the water-based chillers. Sir, COP27 is already underway in Egypt. They are debating about the climate change and all. Mr. Achyut was also mentioning about that. An issue of global warming is providing many opportunities for cooling and heating industry, right? So what technology enhancement will you suggest to use low impact refrigerants like carbon dioxide, hydrocarbon or ammonia or methyl chloride for cooling systems?
I come with a HVAC background, but I also come with a firm view that before we apply all of these cooling technologies, I think one should look at nature to help you with that. So I'm a firm believer in passive cooling technology first, and then applying the active cooling technology. So let's start whichever city of India we are in. It offers you nearly 6 months. Every city in India offers at least 6 months of fair weather. And in our buildings that we do cooling, we tend to just shut ourselves so tightly that whether we require air conditioning or cooling or no, we end up doing that. So that's number one. Once you have done that, is the remaining part of the year that we need to worry about cooling. And again, there are other technologies for cooling which Rajeshwari started with, where she mentioned that compressor-based refrigeration. There are alternate technologies which are coming in because compressor-based refrigeration does provide a challenge with energy. So that's something that can be explored because not all climates require compressor-based cooling all the time. And then finally, we come to compressor-based cooling, where I think Achyut already covered that HFO refrigerants are now coming in, which ensure that the global warming is not there. So HCFC phase down has already begun, and HFO is coming in. And you're right in saying natural refrigerants need to be seen. So there is work going on, but I think it will take some time for the natural refrigerants to move into what I say commercial cooling area. But we are seeing HFO definitely moving in it at this point.
Yeah, definitely. That's right. This is the era of HFOs now, and quite good that you believe in that natural system of active and passive cooling. That is the way to balance the things. Mr. Vijay, green is the buzzword. Everybody says green. Everything is going green. So what design changes will you suggest for chiller plant operation to increase system efficiency for green chilling?
Talk about the efficiency and green chilling, we are coming with the best technology available. You can say it's 100% green, 100% low carbon technology, and we use water as a refrigerant, and we use silica gel as an adsorbent. This is really 100% green and 100% low carbon technology with some limitations. Like for commercial applications, we cannot go with the big size chillers because we need only the hot water to drive our adsorption technology. We don't consume any energy, very negligible energy, and we use water as a refrigerant. But we are facing a challenge for commercial point of view that availability of hot water is not available everywhere. But from industrial applications, yes, we are going with this technology as 100% green and 100% environmental safety for the customers, because in industrial application, we normally get hot water from with the low temperatures, 60 degree to 80 degree centigrade. And we are coming with this complementary technology to our elder brothers of absorption chillers, where you need a high grade heat source above 80 degree always to get green eco-friendly technology. That is again one more technology available, but with the low waste heat and energy efficiency in almost all plants where it is available but not utilized, because there was no technology earlier available for low grade hot water temperatures. So we have come up with this concept. Mostly 80% for industrial customers, wherever we get opportunity for commercial buildings where we get the hot water as per the solar thermal, whatever space is available as per the architect design, we used to do solar cooling also for commercial. In some cases, we can go 100% power on fuel base like a natural gas base, which gives less carbon and makes the buildings a zero carbon building. But there are limitations, depends on the fuel prices available for the commercial customers. customers. So this is what technology we brought. We brought this concept to save environment and make it as a 100% green.
So how you are going to implement this concept of green cooling with the hot water and?
Only hot water we use as a driving energy, because we use adsorbent as silica gel, which can withstand with maximum 100 degree heat. So we use solid silica gel. We are not using any lithium bromide, where we can go up to 200 degrees in the form of high pressure steam. Actually, technology to upgrade waste heat efficiency, to increase the efficiency in plants, and also for the solar thermal application, where hot water with high efficiency from tubular applications are available at 60-70 degree hot water temperatures. So we are going to implement for solar commercial application and waste heat low grade for industrial application.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay. That would save a lot of energy also.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, Mr. Mukesh, increasing online commerce business, and there is a need of big warehouses and cold storage that is being felt, especially in our country. So what new opportunities do you see to provide large space cooling, such as for cold storage, warehouses?
For the e-commerce, the amount of capacity they require at one place and the number of temperature zones they require is almost 4, which is like frozen, chilled, low 15-16 degree refrigeration and dry. So they require usually these 4 zones they require. And the challenge we are facing is, as a consumer side, I can tell you, is that large land parcels are not available at developed places. These logistics parks, which can say, needs to be developed on the outskirts of the city or some remote places 10-12 kilometers outside the city. So where you can have 10 acres, 20 acres sort of a warehouse facility, and within that shared warehouse, you have to develop the frozen cold storage for them, you have to develop the chilled cold storage, and so on and so forth. So what is happening is, these days the ambient air temperature is going as high as 49 degree temperature. So if you have a refrigeration system which is based on air cooled system, the amount of tonnage of refrigeration required increases drastically during 40-50 days of summers, and for the rest of the years it is very low. So to meet those 40-50 days, the capex goes very high in terms of tons of refrigeration required. And if you go for a water-based, water-cooled system, refrigeration system, the quality of water that is available at those areas is roughly, let us say, 3000 TDS or 4000 TDS, that sort of a thing. And at that level, whatever compressors or whatever cooled condensing systems you are using, they get choked. So either ways, if you balance it with the water-based system, then you have a problem of the high TDS. And if you balance it with the air-based cooled system, then you have the problem of high ambient. So these are the challenges that are there with the industry, and I would like to have some solutions based on these 2 problems.
Thank you, Mr. Mukesh. Yes, we have to deal with these challenges and come out with the new technologies, definitely. Mr. Ashish, considering environmental sustainability in the increase in industrialization and urbanization, how will you evaluate cooling technologies for large spaces?
I think Gopal Krishna said, as I mentioned earlier, we seem to have gone into a one-size-fits-all model and left the traditional way of doing designs or the knowledge that we had. We've sort of forgotten it or chosen to forgotten it. We have gone and started making buildings which look alike in all climatic zones. There are codes and standards which are now being talked about, which are bringing in the concept of taking the climate into consideration. So to me, going forward, I see that we need to be mindful of the climate. And as I mentioned in the first question also that you asked, I think I'm a more believer in passive, and there is a concept called adaptive thermal comfort. I believe in that also, where I firmly say that, look, a human body which can withstand a temperature of 50 degrees climate to a minus 20 degree climate, I'm sure we can do better than 22 degrees that we are prescribing. As we move towards a low carbon world, because carbon neutrality is a reality, we are going to move towards a carbon neutral nation. It may happen in 2050, 2060 or 2070, what our Honorable Prime Minister said, but it's going to happen. And when it happens, I don't think we'll reach there in a cost-effective way if we continue to work what we are doing in terms of the technologies that are there today. We need to embrace the nature, adapt with the nature, and I'm sure we'll find that we can cut down our operating cost and the carbon emissions with that. So that's what my submission would be, Gopal Krishna.
That's fine about highlighting all these things. Mr. Achyut, do you want to add anything to it?
I think Sir has covered it very well. In fact, we also would love to have the passive cooling concepts coming in, because that's something which is going to turn the table faster. And we do have certain technologies available with passive cooling as well. Than going for an active one, but for certain places and at certain ambient temperatures it may not suit well. But yes, definitely that's something which is going to drive the market faster. And I also definitely agree to what Sir said. Instead of we are adjusted to stay, work, play, not just in 22 and little more. So that's a myth that people do carry, that I feel better and I feel best when the temperatures are around 21, 22 like that. So that's really true.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Thank you very much for that explaining about it. So now India's future cooling demand will depend on increase in the urban infrastructure and initiatives. So there is an opportunity for low GWP refrigerant-based chillers in India. So thank you all the panelists for highlighting your views, and I request Rajeshwari to take the session further along. Ms. Rajeshwari, please.
Thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, chillers and cooling technologies for environmental safety. We hope you enjoyed the session thoroughly. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Mr. Ashish Rakheja, Mr. Mukesh Agarwal, Mr. Achyut Kulkarni, Ms. Shama Jain, and Mr. Vijay Rera. I would also like to thank Mr. Gopal Anand for taking up this initiative. We want our delegates and our viewers to stay connected with us on our social media handle. Thermal Control Magazine is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also download our app from Google Play and App Store. So with this, we would like to announce the closing of today's session. We request you to stay tuned for more such sessions. Thank you and goodbye.